amid all this Israel derangement syndrome that we're seeing from many people on the right. They got to stop being so obsessed with Israel and so obsessed with the Jews. You know, it's not the Israelis that are going to have another 9/11 here in our country.
No. Hang on a second.
Not obsessed with the Jews. Am obsessed with the country that is sucking up our resources to commit atrocities and slaughter innocent people in the Middle East. And I'm not gonna stop talking about it just because the likes of Laura Loomer accuse people like us of being obsessed. Yeah, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with the country that's destroying our country. Go ahead, Cenk.
Yeah, so Stephen Miller is about to defend us. What? Okay, so things have taken a turn.
Steve Bannon.
I'm sorry, Steve Bannon, Stephen Miller, never.
Yeah.
But that goes to the point I was gonna make, Anna, which is that of all the people I give credit for turning around, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, etc., it's so hard to give Steve Bannon credit.
Don't give him credit.
Okay, so let's watch together and make the decision together.
The guy who's talking about Trump doing a third term, that guy?
No, I know, I'm perfectly aware.
Yeah, how's Curtis Yarvin doing?
Yeah.
How's that corporate monarchy plot working out?
That's what
I don't trust him at all. I don't trust Bannon at all. Anyway, with that in mind, so this discussion began when Loomer claimed that the Trump administration is being manipulated by the government of Qatar.
Yeah.
Hilarious, here's the clip.
I think it's important, Steve, for people to remember that we could have had the hostages out. We could have had the hostages out 2 years ago, but it was the Qataris that were providing safe haven to the leaders of Hamas so that they weren't killed by the IDF. Are those our allies? Where are the dead bodies of the American hostages that we were told that were going to be turned over weeks ago when this peace deal was finalized? Where are the bodies? We don't have the bodies yet. Qatar controls Hamas at the end of the day. They do. So I think that we need to have a real conversation, Steve, in the GOP, and hopefully, amid all this Israel derangement syndrome that we're seeing from many people on the right, you don't see these people ever talk about Islam. You don't ever see these people talk about the threat of Islam, Steve. And they got to stop being so obsessed with Israel and so obsessed with the Jews. It's not the Israelis that are going to have another 9/11 here in our country.
No. Hang on a second.
I'm worried about the threat of Zionism that has cost this country. I mean, when it comes to funneling our resources to Israel, at least $300 billion. We've definitely lost soldiers fighting Israel's wars. I mean, how many Muslim countries did we do that for?
Look, the entire global war on terror cost us $8 trillion, and 90% of it was to fight Israel's enemies.
And by the way, I was told by the likes of Laura Loomer that I should be very concerned about Muslim terrorists, like Al-Qaeda, for instance. Al-Qaeda carried out 9/11, so valid point, except now, at the behest of Israel, we're very supportive of the new Al-Qaeda terrorist leader of Syria. So when it comes to Israel's preferred Muslim terrorists, we'll be real friendly, even if those terrorists were part of the group that carried out the worst terror attack in US soil, in US history.
Netanyahu created Hamas because he wanted to split the Palestinians. And so he thought if they're divided, we'll get to say we have no partner for peace. And it'll be a good way of continuing to take more Palestinian land. Now he pretends that he's outraged by Hamas. So why did you help them?
Why did you fund them?
Why did you help fund them? I mean, look, the Israelis, they should be furious with Netanyahu, but I'm looking forward to Bannon's defense here.
All right, let's go to the next video.
If Netanyahu and if the Israeli government had dealt straight with us, you wouldn't have had this problem. They're liars. They've been stone cold liars. They gave bad information. So I'm not going to let that go unchallenged. That's just bullshit. Netanyahu's government has been atrocious, and we should have regime change in Jerusalem, and we should have it immediately. They've lied to the American government. They've lied to the American people consistently. You say Israeli derangement syndrome. It's not Israeli derangement syndrome. I certainly don't have it. What I have is the Greater Israel Project that was never done, no due diligence was done. The American people never signed off that. The Trump administration never signed off on that. That's a Netanyahu. We need regime change in Jerusalem, and we need it tonight. Okay? Everything that comes out of Netanyahu's government is a stone cold lie.
I happen to disagree with both of them entirely. No, it's not a regime issue in Israel. This is the identity of that country. The Greater Israel Project has been pursued, whether Netanyahu's in charge or some other political opponent of his is in charge.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, I hear you.
We need to decouple. We don't have to go to war with Israel, although I wouldn't be against it, but that's not gonna happen. I'd like to decouple. They are not our allies. Decouple, let's separate. No more money for you. No more aiding and abetting your war crimes. No more bribing Egypt so they play nice with you. Decouple, that's what I want. And then Israel can do whatever they want with their regime, but I want nothing to do with them. That's what I want. That's the correct answer. Go ahead, Cenk.
But in the old days, Laura Loomer would have spread that propaganda and Steve Bannon would have joined along, right? Now, Steve Bannon is saying regime change in Jerusalem. And we never signed off on the Greater Israel Project. That to me is the most important thing he said, because finally we're talking about Greater Israel. And that's what the Israelis talk about nonstop. They talk about how they're gonna take Judea and Samaria, West Bank, Gaza Strip, and they're gonna take southern Lebanon and western Syria and all these places. And they barely pretended self-defense in Israel. They love taking Arab land and they think that it's theirs, that God promised it to them and that America owes them that land acquisition and that empire that they want to create. And here's Steve Bannon, of all people on planet Earth, going, wait, when did we promise you an empire that we had to pay for? So the fact that he's telling his audience that and basically shutting Laura Loomer up is a beautiful thing. I agree with you, Steve Bannon should never be trusted, and him and Stephen Miller are the two guys who are most in favor of authoritarian government, and I can't stand it. But that's part of my point, that even one of the most toxic people on earth is saying Israel's too toxic for me. Netanyahu's too toxic for me. In fact, we got to pull up on it real quick on TYT.com. We asked you what you think about Bannon's comments. One, I agree, we should try to force him to step down. Two, it's not our business, but we should stop funding them. Three, it's not our business, let them run their own government. Four, Netanyahu is right. I don't know if anybody's gonna say Netanyahu is right, but I say defund them. I agree with you, decouple. We don't have to attack, we don't have to do anything. I want Israel to be a grown-up country. Stop attacking all your neighbors. You're responsible for your own war crimes and your own wars. You have nukes, you have Iron Dome, you have an amazing military. You don't need any more of our money. Stop attacking everyone, otherwise they're gonna attack you back and we're not gonna protect you. Oh no, but you have to protect us. No, we don't. You shouldn't start those wars. If someone starts a war, which Israel has done repeatedly, including in 1967 when they took the land in the first place, then we have no responsibility towards you at all.
At all, at all. In fact, you owe us.
Yeah, you do.
Pay us back.
Yeah.
All that money that you use for atrocities and land theft. Okay, no, I loathe the fact that we have any relationship with Israel. Okay, it's an embarrassment to this country.
They should give us the 300 billion back before we ask for the 8 trillion back. Because we fought all their wars for them. Iraq was their #1 enemy. Iraq was against Al-Qaeda, was not our enemy at all, at all. Saddam Hussein was a bad guy, but he was a bad guy towards Israel and against Al-Qaeda. They made us fight that war. One of the top neocons was Netanyahu. They totally control our government. More than, look, as much as I'm heartbroken about the genocide and it's at maximum level, right? I can't stand that they've ripped away our sovereignty from us even more.
100%.
Like the fact that we don't run our own government when we're supposed to be a democracy, and instead the Laura Loomers of the world browbeat everyone, cancel anyone who criticizes Israel. You're an anti-Semite, you're gonna be canceled and your life is gonna be ruined. And then, by the way, we have no control, but if you criticize Israel, you're gonna be fired and your life is going to be absolutely shattered, but no control. But what do you mean no control? We're gonna pay 90% of Congress, they're gonna vote with us 100% of the time, but you're not allowed to say control. No, I am allowed to say it. I'm an American. I don't agree to Israeli occupation of my government, okay? Yes, it is occupied. And those Congress people, by the way, the American Congress people who sell out our country just to get paid by Israeli lobby,
yeah,
they're worse than the Israeli government.
Of course.
Because they're betraying us.
Yeah, they should be tried for treason. They're traitors to this country, and I mean that. All right, final video we'll go to, because Laura Loomer says, no, come on, you think Israel is manipulating and controlling our government? That's crazy. There's a different country that has way more influence.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't say that people can't be critical of Israel, but I don't ever see any of the people that focus all of their efforts on criticizing Israel. I wish that they would criticize Qatar as well. My point is that if you're going to criticize Israeli influence in American politics, talk about the Qatari lobby, because the Qatari lobby has substantially way more influence on our American politics, Steve, and they spend way more money, they own way more real estate, and they're giving way more political favors to American politicians than the Israelis. The Qataris have the type of money that people dream that Jews have.
I don't know if they have more influence.
I'm not going to, but I've never wanted to utter the R word more than this very moment. Go ahead, Cenk.
Yeah, look. Qatar,
both of them, by the way.
Qatar is way too much influence. They got Trump a $400 million jet, right? UAE funneled $2 billion to Trump's organizations, which he makes about $80 million a year.
What's the influence, Cenk? Okay, sure, yeah, they gave him goodies, but like, what's the influence? Okay, how are they effing us in the ass the way Israel is?
No, I got you. I'm pointing out there's a lot of different countries that try to influence our politicians in different ways. They're mainly targeting Trump, right? UAE, Qatar, etc. But Israel has given money to 90% of Congress, and that 90% votes with Israel 100% of the time. So they totally own our Congress. It's not even close. No one takes money from the Qatari lobby in Congress, as far as I know. If you have names, no problem. I'd be against that 100%, okay? So this idea that Qatar, this tiny little country, is actually more powerful than Israel, which has given hundreds of billions of dollars to our politicians, bribed almost all of them, controls our media almost completely.
Yeah.
That Qatar has more influence than Israel? You got to be out of your mind to say that.
Yeah, we're not buying or believing your deflections and your distractions, bitch, okay? It's not gonna work.
Period. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.